We are in this together.
You have gifts that I don't have, and I have gifts that you don't have.
That we must see. Now is the time, because it's when we all get together that we will make the changes that we must make. We are the world.
Welcome to Malcolm and We, brought to you on malcolmpresents.com, a new streaming service which produces original half-hour shows, all on demand and archived. So if you're sitting around the house, just go to the computer, go to malcolmpresents.com, and you have a whole load of new shows not seen anyplace else. Anyway, Malcolm and We. Tell us what it's all about, Yana.
Well, I'm going to tell you about our guest.
Tell us about our guest.
All right. Well, today we have Andre Sheldon here. He is the founder and director of Global Strategy of Nonviolence and the creator and developer of a new global peace movement called a Global Movement of Nonviolence for the Children, which is an anti-war movement, but it's also a movement of goodwill to create trust and respect among nations and people. In his business life, Andre has a background as a manager in restaurants, hotels, and country clubs. And as a peace advocate, he has worked with Ms. Yolanda King, who is the daughter of Dr. Martin Luther King, and Arun Gandhi, grandson of Mahatma Gandhi. He is also a 20-year member of Women's International League for Peace and Freedom, a 15-year member of the National Organization for Women, also known as NOW, and he is an avid follower of Code Pink, Women for Peace. Welcome, Andre. It's a delight to have you here today with us.
Oh, thank you, Yana, and thank you, Malcolm. Thank you for having me. I'm very honored to be here. And I follow Code Pink for a reason, because they do things like have slogans that say, women say no to war. And there's a group called Women's International League for Peace and Freedom. Women's power to stop war is their slogan.
Well, yay for that. And I'm wearing my Fight for Her t-shirt because there are a lot of organizations out there that fight and work for women, and we need to have those.
Yes. So what I found was that the grassroots movements were everywhere. And so then if there was leadership that came in, like a Gandhi or a King, and so I'm the biggest promoter of women to say, wow, if women lead the way, and it's not just me seeing it, me saying it, there's evidence that the women are uniting all around the world for different causes. And there's power there. And that's why I'm here today, to promote now a new movement that takes all of that power to its highest level to promote nonviolence, a global movement of nonviolence.
Well, I notice, internationally, women are gaining, more and more power in government, whether it be prime ministers, presidents. But in certain countries, women do not have equal rights. And I think more around the world that women do not have equal rights. I'm sort of like in the Middle East or Africa or even Asia. How do you deal with that? I think if the women get organized, they could have a great movement. But I don't know what percentage of women have the ability to, legally.
And that's why it's important that there's leadership, because they set an example. It's about leading the way and showing by example. That's what we do. If in any problem we have, if there's the CEO of a company, or if it's an organization in schools and they're having a problem, they get the people together, try and figure out a way to do it, find a leader to lead the way, and say, here's what we're going to try. And they take a step forward. And so I'm saying, yes, let's take it to the the power of women together with the power of nonviolence and say, here's what we're doing. Whether you're in a country you're restricted or not. Just like as an example, Iran, the women were protesting for months and months. It's a perfect template for what I'm proposing on a global level, that we need something different. We're right now in a very bad situation because of the climate and because of the existential threat of nuclear war. So all the leaders in the webinars I've been on over the past 5-6 months are saying we need a mass movement. We need to come together. And therefore, all the work that I'm proposing is saying, let's unite first. That's the first thing we have to do. And then we can attack the issues. And so why do we, and how can we unite? Because of the children. The children are the motivation for all of us to unite together. In the United States, we have a big gun problem. And after the children were killed in Sandy Hook, Connecticut, a woman started a group called Moms Demand Action. It took off like wildfire. It went to all 50 states. And in particular, the former mayor of New York City, Michael Bloomberg, contributed $50 million to his Stopping Gun Violence organization to enlist the women as the outreach. And here's an example of their post on Facebook: ferocious love. Why? For the children. We'll do anything to protect the children. So it's about saving lives. That's why women are rising up. That'll catch on everywhere in every country. And we need every country to be involved. So I'm here to say, boy, we have an opportunity right now. Even though there's all these problems, you're absolutely right, Malcolm, that there's problems and there's going to be obstacles, and they're so big, I call them a behemoth. And therefore, the scales are not balanced. Look at this scale here.
Yeah.
It's weighted down by a behemoth. But if we unite, it can balance the scales. And the behemoth is corporations, the economics, and people's mindset. And I think the worst of all is militarism. Right now, the war in Ukraine has changed the world in the wrong direction, going towards militarism. We need to go the other way, towards compassion and empathy and unity. And that's why what we, the world, has done, it couldn't be more appropriate and needed right now. And it's to take what Rick Ulfik and We the World has done and now mold it into one united package. So I say, if women come to the forefront and issue, women leaders come to the forefront and issue a call to women, a worldwide unity campaign. When the women are enlisting other women, it's going to make it happen. But it's not just for women. It's for everyone. Like in the US, the civil rights movement was for everyone, not just Black people. But this is designed to unite the whole world. We need Rick Ulfik and all of We the World and Unity Earth and the global citizens all to come together. And that's what I'm proposing. This is an emergency plan.
It sounds great.
Yay, Andre.
As a matter of fact, what I'd like to suggest to you is my expertise is communications. What I'd like maybe for you to do, if you have the time, is to do a separate Zoom from Malcolm and We with me, you, and have one of your women talk, maybe from different countries, and say what they're doing, what their idea is, and do a series on that. We could do it, a half hour each week, if you have the time. Or I think what's now with the Zoom, maybe we could do like 10 to 15-minute shows. Because I don't think people have the attention span anymore. They like listening for short periods of time, short bursts. But we could talk about this off camera.
Well, thank you very much for the thought. And yes, let's talk about it.
Yeah, as I say
Because
that.
right now, because of the emergency, I've tried to simplify things because everyone's busy. And all my work over the last 20 years, it's been to say, let's get the women leaders. But they say to me, well, we're busy. So yes, we like your idea. We support it. Keep working on it. So the granddaughter of Mahatma Gandhi, Ela Gandhi, she lives in South Africa. She was here in Boston at Harvard, and I met her, and she gave me a half hour of her time. And at the end, she said, all you really need is one woman to take this as her own, not me enlisting women. If women are enlisting women, watch what happens. We can harness the power of women in nonviolence. And so there's 6 women that I've targeted and highlighted to say, wow, if they came together and they enlisted their whole constituencies, what? Oh, that's the start of a chain reaction around the world. So the first most important 2 leaders are from the peace movement and the climate movement. So there's Beatrice Finn and Naomi Klein. Beatrice Finn from ICANN, she has the TPNW, Treaty to Prevent Nuclear War. She could, if she asked her constituency to do anything, they probably would do it. She has that much power. But so someone has to ask her to do that, not me. I've met her and talked to her about it. She doesn't know me. But what if then Naomi Klein from the climate movement said, yes, let's get together. You and me, we both can enlist our whole movements and come together as one for the purpose of uniting. And then we promote then we plan and strategize in all our tactics into an action plan every day of the year. That's the way I've been promoting it. And then there's a marketing plan that goes with it every day. And all the elements are designed to attract attention, to capture and keep the attention of the media, because the media is not following the peace world right now at all. We're gonna make it so that they have to follow it because it'll be everywhere. And then there's, of course, Medea Benjamin from Code Pink.
Yeah.
And she is amazing. She's brilliant, number 1. Number 2, she's courageous, as we all know in the peace movement, anyone that knows her. But what is her real skill is she knows what's going on and she says it like it is. She speaks truth to power. So some of her tactics, some people don't like. Some of the plan that I'm proposing, people won't like. But the overall aspect of it is what has to catch their attention to say, even though there's things we don't like, we're going to join. That's why people like Mr. Trump, because his power, they'll forget about all the bad things because he's got power. So these women come together, and then on an international scale, US and international, Nobel laureate Lema Gbowee from Liberia. She stopped the war in her country with women from the Christian and Islamic religions to come together using Gandhi tactics. She's perfect. She can bring in all the Nobel laureates in one shot. And then there's Alice Walker. Alice Walker wrote The Color Purple. And Alice Walker is a peace activist. And I think of the strongest kind. And why? Because she's not seen very often. But when she comes out, the people want to hear what she has to say. She's dynamic. She could enlist the whole civil rights movement, the people that are still living, the leaders and the people from the public to join together. And then we enlist all the musicians from the 60s peace movement and 70s peace movement to come together. Joan Baez and all the people.
Carole King.
And I'm sorry, and Carole King.
Yeah.
All of those celebrities. It goes on and on, a chain reaction. And then, of course, Gloria Steinem,
Oh, yeah.
who is always asked to participate in all these women's events, no matter what the specific cause. So
Yeah, that proper. I hate to say, Gloria Steinem is not one of my favorite people.
and that's
Doesn't
why I
matter.
said earlier, some people are not going to like every part of it. But the point is, what are we promoting? No war. And it goes further than that, though. It's nonviolence says, oh, we don't want war. And we're going to ask the leader, Gandhi and King, ask their constituents to commit to nonviolence. So these leaders now will do the same thing. But it's more, nonviolence is much more than just anti-war. It's about creating goodwill, trust, and respect among nations and people is our goal. And therefore, we're not a threat. If we're nonviolent, we're not a threat. Yes, we are a threat to power. We're trying to create change, which means the people in power. We're asking them to change and give up their power for a new power. That's contentious. That's difficult. We have to do it. And why? For the children. The children, we're failing the children for the climate movement. In the past couple of weeks, the climatologists came out. The most recent research says we're right at the line of no return. We're there right now. So I say, let's get Greta Thunberg, who says our house is burning, because it is. Let's get Naomi Klein from the climate movement to get everyone together. This is an emergency. And then because of my business background that you mentioned, thank you, Yana, that the plan goes further to say we need a business plan to show that we can get the funding. We have the marketing plan. We have the leaders. We have experts from civil society to advise us. All those features, those 4 features are what I have proposed to the Secretary General of the United Nations. So I'm looking for people to help me now, to help enlist these 6 women and Greta Thunberg, not to say, we have one item planned for next year, for September. No, this is about, now it's a complete cohesive plan with 24 major events over the next 2 years, with a main marketing plan, an awareness campaign to tell everyone what's coming, then with action plan and a specific catalyst that's a surprise. Because if I say what it is, it ruins the effect. So there's a special catalyst that's the people will rise up and say, we want to join, we want to be part of something bigger than we are.
Yeah,
and that's what Gandhi and King did.
Yeah, what seems to happen is there's an event or something, the women's movement make an event. And during, for a few weeks after that, it's big.
That's right.
Then it fades. It's sort of like everybody is in this country after a shooting, everybody is anti-gun, and it becomes a big deal. And yet, how many years since the shootings really began? And this week, I think there were 3 separate mass murders.
That's right. And so it's a question of
ain't nothing being done. We're still doing the semi-automatic weapons.
And you hit a very profound point, that the movements tend to fall off right away. And that's why I planned 24 events in the future so people know what's coming. All the things are about informing the public so that they know, because they're not going to all be able to participate on one specific day. But if they can't, they'll know another day is coming. because our objective is to get bigger and bigger. It's like a wedge. We're going to start a wedge going forward that no one can stop. Gandhi and King lived and died to teach us that nonviolence is the answer. And Jesus and Yahweh and Muhammad the Prophet and Buddha and Krishna, this will enlist all the religions. They're already promoting nonviolence. And then all the spiritual people are already promoting nonviolence and peace within. It's tailor-made right now. Nonviolence is the uniting element for the why for the children. So I say, if we don't have the people in every country involved, we're going to lose. If we don't have a constructive segment that says, here's what we're doing with the money that we're going to raise now to show that people, we can work together. We're going to find ways, starting with the children, to exhibit our desire to work together, our tolerance, our generosity, kindness, forgiveness, and then teach about other cultures so we're not afraid of them, so that we can work and have programs that intertwine all these elements of ideology, religion, and so on, and respect all them. And knowing that we don't have to agree with everything. So lastly, if we don't have a peace movement and a climate movement together, we lose. And then the most important, if women don't rise up right now to create that change, it's not going to happen. We lose.
Yeah. So your things are women going to lead the way?
But don't men have to get involved and support the women too, instead of fight against the women and take their rights away and all that sort of thing?
It's about showing the way. It's about saying, here's what we're doing. We do not want violence anymore. We're demanding that every government, so there's the political part now, it's very political, this movement, that every government renounce war. That's our goal. That's what we're going to announce, because without that, we can't address the world's crises.
What do you do with what do you say to do about people like Putin, who I think we can agree has sociopathic tendencies? How do you get to a person like that who appears to have no empathy, shows no remorse, has no care for people, whether it's men, cute little puppies, children, women, his own officers? What do you do with something like that? How do you get a person like that to just go, oh, I get it?
Well, it's very difficult solution. However, it's all about the wedge. When the leaders that don't agree with what this is see what's happening, just like in the 70s, 60s, and 70s, when the peace movement finally had an effect on the government. So it might take a long time, it might not work, but the point is trying to do it this way with nonviolence. Number one, why I'm convinced it'll work is it makes you feel good. Whenever I'm done with promoting these types of a format, I feel great. Wow. And the people will feel good. We're promoting helping others. Let's help others. That's
we consciousness, like with We the World, going
that's
from
right,
we to we.
So they've set a precedent, We the World.
Yeah,
and now it's to take it, we need a leadership and a plan, and without it, we lose.
Well, you have the leadership, and it's as good that you can direct the leadership, because this whole group of, it's worldwide. Somebody has to unite the leaders versus working separately.
Right.
I mean,
So
it's fine, but they have to work unitedly. Do you have a website that people could go to, or?
Yes, it's actually right now it exists, called Global Strategy of Nonviolence.org, and the people can write to me at globalstrategyofnonviolence.org. So that's the website, Global Strategy of Nonviolence. So they can write to Andre at Global Strategy of Nonviolence. And the website itself actually is frozen right now. We're in the process of developing a new one. And my function is as a facilitator, not as the main leader. I'm or like an architect designs the building, and then the people have to use the building. And so they're going to still want the architect to see, oh, there's everything going in this way. I just developed this as a guideline. If we fall within these guidelines, then that'll make a difference. And I'm there to help provide the funding as the facilitator, to provide the means for the women to operate. They're all busy. They're not going to drop what they're doing now. So this provides the administration for them to operate. They have to then come together for meetings and decide what the main elements are, and then allocate the authority to people for them to accomplish the goal. But with them leading it, then that's where their strength and their power, and they're asking women to lead, to be the first to rise up and then invite the men. It's not about women only. It's about, we need something different, and women are usually socialized to be the least physically violent. They're the ones closest affiliated with the children. They have a desire for saving the world. And as Howard Zinn, my confidant, he lived in the same town that I do, and I miss him terribly. He wrote to me, your call to women is powerful, and there's no doubt that women represent nonviolence best. So I close in saying, as part of the closing statement, that let's do something different and go beyond the norm.
Yeah.
It's not saying women have all the answers. It's not saying women are going to solve all the problems. It's saying this, with women leading the way, they're showing us what we need.
That's true. I agree with you. And Andre, we've talked many times and in various platforms over the years. I think your story you told me about your mom is really nice. Can you tell that briefly? How you got involved?
Sure. When I first,
the impetus.
when September 11th happened, that's when I became a peace activist afterwards. But right during that period, my father had Alzheimer's. He had remarried when my mother died, and so it's my stepmother you're referring to. And she was the strength of the family, because they were 80 years old, but she was holding it together until finally she couldn't hold it any longer because problems got too large.
Yeah.
As many people know in their families, it's very difficult. And so I saw her strength, and I said, yes, women can lead the way. And then I was also influenced by a famous movie star who said, a woman who attributed her success to love of life. And so I kept thinking, oh, wow, if you bring that together, it's all about peace and nonviolence and understanding, and come together, women can make it happen.
Yeah. I found out with women, or being in my basic background is communications and radio and TV. I found the women are the ones that execute the plans. They're the ones that follow through with clients and what they promise, they deliver. The guys, I'm talking about in the sales end and the marketing, the guys were, they deliver the plans, but then their way of performing was, let's go out and play some golf. It was more social than really.
And then they had the secretaries do the work, right?
But there's all kinds of problems and obstacles along the way. This is designed to say, even though those obstacles are there, here's where we're going. We're not a physical threat to you. We're going to declare that. We're going to do everything we can possible to stop and prevent war. And diffuse ongoing conflicts. So there is a specific way that this can be a force for stopping the war in Ukraine, because now people's hearts are hardened, and we're not going to change it unless there's something really big that captures the attention of the whole world. And so I'm a lucky person. When I saw the power of women in nonviolence, I said, well, my whole life led me to this. I met women leaders here in Boston that were peace activists. My first was Dr. Helen Caldicott, and she liked my idea because that's what I was really a spinoff of hers. She founded WAND, Women's Actions for Nuclear Disarmament, because she thought that women coming together has power.
Well, Andre, I hate to cut you off, and we'll have to do some more time with you, but our half hour is up. And as I say, what I'd love to do is have you look at the other shows, see how you could best use us. As they say, we are a tool for you.
Thank you.
And to me, Zooming, which I found out actually since I've just been involved with this since the COVID crisis. But I see this is a great tool because I love talking to people. We've talked to people with Yana throughout the world.
Yes. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Yes, I have a few ideas, and I look forward to our future collaboration. Thank you, Malcolm.
And take a look at the shows. Your show should be up by midweek.
All right, wonderful.
And what I'd love to do is have you also take this show and share it with all your contacts.
Yes, thank you.
Because the whole thing is we want to collect ideas.
Yes.
And get this to as many eyes as possible, because that's the only way we're going to save the world. Anyway, thank you very much.
And my last request is to please, if anyone wants to help, contact me. And especially my priority is getting the women leaders together. If you have contacts, call me.
Yeah. Or contact malcolmpresents.com at malcolmpresents@gmail.com, and we will forward anything to you. Anyway,
thank you, Malcolm.
Thank you again. And you've been listening to Malcolm Presents. And we're on YouTube, and we're on Twitter, and all our shows are on demand. So you can, in the middle of the night, if you wake up and you can't go back to sleep, put malcolmpresents.com on. Anyway, thank you.
And we have a new Facebook. Sorry, I'm going to just get to say we have a new Facebook group for Malcolm and we. And but you'll be able to find that out at malcolmpresents.com.
Peace and love.
Peace.
Peace and love.
The objective of the organization We the World is to facilitate cooperation on a global scale amongst groups and individuals dedicated to implementing solutions to the many challenges we face on the planet at this time.